Is this for real? Yes, it is. Storms are imminent. We could have scenes like this, wow, across huge swaths of the country because we have 5 days of severe weather in a row with all severe weather hazards possible, including tornadoes. But who is most at risk and when is this gonna happen? I got you. Gonna cover all that and more in today's forecast video starting now. Jordan Hall's dad took this in his backyard. Guys, let's start things off with a visible satellite like we always do. And if you look at this right now, you can clearly see we've got this spin in the atmosphere. This is a weak low pressure system that we've been talking about for the past couple of days that's just been bringing up all of this moisture from the Gulf, and a lot of shower and storm action has been happening in the Midwest, in the Ohio Valley, and now moving across the East Coast. You guys are getting on that cloud action. And we've also got these leftover clouds from the storms that we had yesterday. We're expecting more storms in that same area right in here today. And then from Texas all the way to the West Coast, our West Coast brethren and our Texas brethren are clear. Except for Southeast Texas, look at this band of shower and storms pushing in from the coast. That's actually really cool. Look at that outflow boundary that's pushing in from the Gulf right now. That is so cool. All right, so we're gonna jump right into it today and look at the simulated radar for today, Saturday, June 14th. Now, I know I'm making this video a little bit later in the day than I normally do, so we're gonna spend a little bit of time on today, and then I'm gonna talk about tomorrow and beyond. Now, looking at where our trouble spots are today, this is really hard to pinpoint because look how much shower and storm action we have across the eastern half of the country, especially from Ohio down into the southeast, into Florida. We've got this cluster of storms associated with that low pressure. We've got this cluster of storms. Those are just your daytime, afternoon, and evening shower and pop-up storms. And then we'll have this cluster of storms. That'll be our focal point for severe weather for today out in Wyoming, Nebraska, and South Dakota. So zooming in here on the southeast, if you live from Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, all along the Carolinas, along the East Coast, even down into portions of Florida, you are going to expect a very stormy and soggy day. Not everyone's going to get in on the shower and storm action. As you see, I'll put this in motion here, but pretty good chance of you getting a rumble of thunder, some lightning strikes. You're going to hear some thunder off in the distance at a bare minimum. Anyone along the Gulf Coast, down into the southeast, even into portions of the Ohio Valley, expect off and on storms all day. That's no fun. And then going up in Nebraska, Wyoming, and South Dakota, look at this broken line of storms that pushes east from Wyoming to the east towards Scotts Bluff, towards Rapid City. And then we could even have a couple of storms form up here in Montana as well. We got a couple of clusters right here, and then up here to the north of Billings. To be honest, the threat doesn't look too significant at this point. And that's why we only have this slight risk that goes from Billings all the way down into Nebraska. That is where we're expecting some severe storms today. And then this area down here in Oklahoma City, that is actually for a squall line that has already moved through. By the time you watch this video, that should be gone. And then also some marginally severe storms could be possible from Washington, D.C., down through western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee. And if you look at our tornado threat for today, only at 2%, guys, right in this area right there from Billings down into Scotts Bluff, Nebraska. Just not too worried about it. Really, guys, we're not going to see widespread tornado outbreak today. This area in Oklahoma will be out of the game by the time you watch the video. All you Thunder fans, you're going to be all right. I think wind and then also hail are going to be the main threats today, especially in Montana where we do have this hatch risk. That means we could get a little bit of bigger hail. We saw that yesterday. So that'll be the most likely outcome for the storms today there. Stop what you're doing right now. Pick up your mouse in your hand just like this, throw it in the air, grab it again, hit the subscribe button, and mash the like button. And leave a comment below. Look, someone's leaving a comment. This video is so cool. Wow. Back to you, StormCat. All right, let's talk our storms on Sunday. Now, we do have, again, another slight risk right in there. That's that yellow area. That is a 2 out of 5 risk. A lot of the same areas today. So a lot of chasers will be up in this part of the country. If you're a hotel owner, get ready. I think tomorrow is going to be very similar to today. We could get storms as far south as Oklahoma City and Texas. Looking at our tornado threats, almost a carbon copy of today. We could technically get a tornado, but I'm not expecting widespread tornadoes by any means. And just have your head on a swivel if you live up here in eastern Montana, down through Dakotas, down through Nebraska. It's technically possible. And tornadoes are actually very rare in Montana, so they've probably been on high alert the past couple of days. Now, timing things out for Sunday, interestingly enough, see this feature down here in Oklahoma? We're likely going to see another squall line move through in the overnight hours, Saturday night into Sunday morning. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that right there, because we are going to have gusty winds potentially. They're going to move through late in the day, early into the morning hours. That will slam its way off to the east. It's going to make for a pretty noisy night. A lot of noise complaints like my neighbor. Going into Sunday morning, though, that thing will eventually gust its way out. But look at this, waking up Sunday morning. Big time storms ongoing with some strong winds. That's why we've got that marginal risk in place. I could see them upgrading this to a slight risk, though, by the time you watch this video. Across the rest of the country, once again, it's more storms along the Gulf Coast from Florida all the way down to Houston. That is normal for this time of year. And then this low pressure system that was over here is going to work its way off the coast. Also, it's going to weaken. So notice how we don't have as much shower and storm action. Now, if you do live along the eastern seaboard all the way down to Georgia, you probably see some sort of chance for rain in your forecast. And this is why, because our shower and storms will be scattered to isolated at best, and they'll pop during the afternoon and evening right in there. You guys, like 50% chance of rain. What the does that mean? This is what that means. We just got scattered storms everywhere. It's gonna be really hard to pinpoint exactly who's gonna get wet, who's not. All right, now what about our severe weather risk for Sunday? Things aren't gonna get going until Sunday, late evening into the overnight hours. This is 0Z, so about 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. One area, we've got another line of storms. That's almost exactly the same thing that's going to happen today. And then we've got more storms up into Montana. So the song is stuck on repeat. All right, so a lot of you are probably wondering why it feels so oppressive outside. And that's because we have dew points of 60 to 70, close to 80 degrees in some spots along the Gulf Coast. And that extends all the way up into North Dakota. This plume of moisture that I'm drawing a circle around right there, those are downright oppressive, very moist air masses in place, and that is what is causing it to feel so sticky, so muggy, so moist, because we did have a low that moved through that really brought all of this moisture up, and it's not going to go anywhere for the majority of this weekend. Now, I know they say curiosity killed the cat, but I want to see how long this oppressive moisture is going to hang around and how long it's going to feel downright moist. This is Sunday. Let's go into Monday. Hangs around. Going into Tuesday, it gets even worse. Going into Wednesday. Oh my gosh. Thursday. How long can it hang around? Friday. Saturday. What is going on? The Euro says we are going to have a week straight of dew points of 70 or higher for pretty much this entire part of the country, for the eastern half of the country. You guys ready to sweat that right there? That is moist. All right, well, I know I teased in the intro, we're going to have 5 days in a row of severe alert. I've only shown you 2. You're probably like, is this guy lying to me? Is he for real? And the answer is yes, because this is the severe alert risk for Monday. We have yet again another slight risk in almost identical parts of the country. This time it's centered in South Dakota, and it works its way into Minnesota as well, even into Iowa. And we're talking about almost an identical type risk here, guys. Storms are going to form in eastern Wyoming, push off to the east, head towards Minnesota, primarily a wind, possibly a hail threat, and we'll see a meh kind of tornado risk, probably a 2% risk, I would anticipate. There are a couple days out, and I could see them upgrading the tornado risk a little bit right now. Chances of seeing widespread tornadoes are very low. It's day 4. This is the 4th day in a row. I told you 5. We're getting to 4. But this time, it's a little bit further south, right in there through southern Nebraska into northern Kansas, even into Iowa and Missouri. We'll likely have kind of a sagging boundary that forms down here. We'll have storms that fire right along that boundary. We've got warm, moist air coming up from the Gulf. A little bit of a cooler air mass that forms there, right where those two air masses hit. That's where the storms will fire. So Tuesday, more severe weather expected. I think also, just like we've had the past several days, because it'll be so muggy, warm, and moist in the eastern half of the United States, we're going to get storms possible once again in the southeast down to Florida, down through the Carolinas. Wouldn't be surprised to see some storms in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. It's just when you get that kind of moisture and you have that summertime heat, things are going to bubble up and form and die, but they probably won't be severe. Oh, day 5. Are you kidding me? This will be the 5th day in a row of a severe weather risk, but this time it's for a different part of the country. Illinois, Michigan, down through Missouri, possibly even into Indiana. Maybe even Northwest Ohio should get in on that storm action here. And this day will likely see a line of storms. I know people were mentioning this day as a possible derecho day. Right now, I'm not really seeing it. I think we need to watch the models, see how the trends go. There will be a decent amount of CAPE in place, but to get a big time derecho, you need CAPE values of 3,000 to 4,000. And right now, this is only showing about 1 to 2, close to 3,000 in this part of the country. I think we're going to be dealing with more of a line of storms with some gusty winds. Okay, what about our hurricane brethren? You guys are looking just fine. We've got no tropical activity expected over the next 7 days in the Atlantic and in the Gulf. The hurricane season is starting off slow. It's a good sign so far. Now, the place where things are starting to heat up is in the Pacific Ocean on the southwest coast of Mexico, right in this region for the 3rd week of June. That's June 18th to 24th. Tropical development is very likely here. And then even on the 4th week of June as well, the Pacific has been relatively quiet the last couple of years. So this does not surprise me that we're starting off on a hot foot. So if you hear any news about any named tropical systems, those are in the Pacific Ocean, and those will be generally moving away from the coast towards Hawaii. Cowabunga! Lastly, guys, what about temperatures along with the moisture? We will also have above average temperatures for basically everyone outside of Oregon and Washington. Summer is here, baby. We're talking temperatures of 70, 80, 90, maybe close to 100 in some spots. So put on those swimsuits, put on that sunscreen, and have a good time. Enjoy the sun for me. I'll be stuck in the weather center. All right, guys. Well, that about does it for me today. Hopefully you all are having a wonderful weekend. I will be live on Readstream later tonight, tracking all that severe weather. And also, we will be having another Outbreak Aftermath. That's our after show to severe weather, where we have people like Brad Arnold, Connor Croft, Jordan Hall, Sierra Lindsay, and more. Agent Dan will be there too. So thank you for joining me today. From all of us here at the Stormfront Freaks, thanks for being here. Find someone, tell them you love them, tell them you care about them today. This is StormCat5, and I'll see you on the next one.